Hello and welcome to Confessions of a Yarn Addict. My name is Anniken and I live in the southwest of England. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already. In this video, I'm going to share a few little snippets from my holiday. I'm going to share what I knitted on holiday, what I took with me yarn-wise, and what I finished and what I did not finish. And then also my needles at the moment and a crochet project I've got back to working on. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I've been away for 5 weeks. Been back for a week now. I went to Spain. My parents have a flat in Spain, so we were very fortunate enough to be able to borrow their flat. Simon came with me, so Simon and I flew out together. We had 5 weeks. We had 3 weeks there together, and then my parents arrived, and the next day Simon left, and then I had 2 weeks with my parents. So it was amazing to see my parents again because I've not seen them since November last year. So great holiday. I'll show you a few little snippets. I won't bore you too many of my holiday photos, but you might be interested to see a few little snippets. I didn't do any yarn shopping while I was away, so I don't know of too many yarn shops in the southern Costa Blanca region. So we were on the Orihuela Costa, just south of Torrevieja, which is south of Alicante on the southern Costa Blanca. I know there is a yarn shop in Elche, and I've heard it's very good, but I haven't actually been. There is a Norwegian run yarn shop in Torrevieja, which is near where we were staying, and I've been there before, and they got lovely yarn, most Norwegian stuff, although I think they sell Katia, which is the Spanish brand as well, but they were only open like 10 to 2 for 3 mornings a week, I think, like no, 4 mornings a week, Monday to Thursday, and we tended to go to the beach in the morning, so if they'd been open in the afternoon I probably would have gone, or in the evening, but their opening hours just weren't very good. And I didn't really need any yarn because I brought a lot with me, and I also didn't have a ton of space in my suitcase, so it's very good I didn't buy any yarn. But I did do a lot of knitting while I was there, not as much as I'd hoped I would do, but I did do quite a lot, and I'll tell you what I've done in this video. So I've got a lot of stuff coming up in the coming weeks and months, hopefully, COVID restrictions allowing, of course. So I'm going to tell you what I've got coming up. I got my tablet here because it's on my calendar, but it's not in my brain. So I do have my calendar here, so apologies for looking down. If you subscribe to my newsletter, all these dates are in my newsletter, and I will put them up on the website as well. As soon as I can, but my newsletter is the best place to find out what's happening, and you can subscribe to my newsletter below this video. So coming up first on the 18th of August, which is next week on Wednesday, I'm doing Yarn Lane again. So I'm going to be a Yarn Lane on Wednesday, 12 o'clock. I'll put the details below, or the link to their website below, where you can find all the details. If you live in the UK, you can watch them on your TV, on Sky and Freeview. I can't remember the channels off the top of my head. I think Freeview is 72, but I'm not sure what the Sky channel is. But I'll put the link to their website below and you can see it there. If you're not in the UK, or if you don't have access to a telly, then you can watch it through their website. So if you go on their website, there is a watch live tab. If you click on that, you can see whatever is live. So it's 12 noon in the UK, Wednesday the 18th. They also repeat everything on YouTube afterwards, so you should be able to see it on YouTube. So that's Yarn Lane on Wednesday. I'm talking about 2 of my lace shawls, and they'll be selling kits. So Fistral and Spebe. I don't have the shawls here at the moment, but I'm going to show you some of the techniques you need for the shawl, how to shape the shawls, and how to add beads. And I think it's Spebe has beads on like a triple yarn over. So I'm going to show you that as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. Been busy preparing all week, and I'm really looking forward to being on Yarn Lane again. And then there is nothing going on till, let me just flick through my diary here. There's nothing happening till the 15th of September. So that week on the 15th, which is a Wednesday, I am teaching my Aventura sock workshop at Spinny Yarn in Bobby Tracy in Devon. Aventura socks on the 15th. So I'll show you how to knit socks from the toe up, top down, with an afterthought heel. On the 18th, Saturday the 18th, I'm at Wool on the X, which is in Exeter in Devon, and I'm teaching how to knit a sweater that fits. So this is a brand new class. It was supposed to be a new class for last year, but COVID happened. So I'm teaching that at Wool on the X in Exeter on the 18th of September. 25th and 26th of September, it's Yarndale. So Yarndale is going ahead. I'm really excited about it. It was the last show I did before COVID 2 years ago, and it'll be the first show I do again, so that's fitting. Slightly nervous about it, to be quite honest, because it will be the first time I'll be in like big crowds of people, trying to think through how we can make the stall COVID secure for us as well as customers. I know Yarndale are doing things to make the venue COVID secure. I think all the tickets are pre-booked only. I don't think you can just turn up and get in. But I'll put a link to their website below. So Yarndale is 25th and 26th of September. And on the Sunday, on the 26th, I'm actually teaching a workshop. So it'll be my first time of teaching a Yarndale. So the Sunday afternoon from 1 to 3:30, I'm teaching my easy lace knitting class. So if you want a quick introduction to lace knitting, that's the perfect class for you. If you've done a little bit of lace knitting and you just want to improve your skills a little bit, that's also perfect. We'll be going through everything you need to know to do lace knitting. So even if you have done a little bit of lace knitting, I'm sure you'll learn a lot from that class as well. So it's not just for complete lace beginners. And then 9th of October, I'm going back to Wool on the X in Exeter, Devon, for a half-day yarn tasting workshop. So the yarn tasting workshop is when you get a selection of yarns to try out, and I'll have a selection of stitch patterns to try out, and we'll talk about the different yarns, the differences between them, what to look up when you're choosing a yarn, a bit about tension, choosing the right yarn for your project, all that kind of stuff, everything yarn related. Really good workshop. I've taught it a couple of times before at Exeter a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed this. I'm really looking forward to teaching that class again. So on the 16th of October, which is a Saturday, I am back at the Wool on the X in Exeter for easy lace knits. So everything you need to know about lace knitting, how to read charts, how to work all the stitches, how to do all the decreases, the difference between the decreases, lots of little secrets and nuggets that get shared in workshops. And then in the afternoon, you'll be working on a project, so you get a chance to start a short project of your own. And then we'll do one more week, the 20th of October, at Spin a Yarn in Bobby Tracy in Devon. I'm teaching knit a sweater that fits. So all about getting a sweater to making alterations to the sweater pattern to fit you, how to measure yourself and all that kind of stuff. So let's talk about some of the things I was knitting on holiday and did not finish. So I've got this cow. So I started this on holiday. I started this on the plane actually. Well, I started at the airport. So I cast on at the airport and started knitting in the round. So the idea is that this will fold inside. So that'll be the outside, the public side, if you like, of the cow. It's got picot edging down here, and then that'll be the inside. So it'll be like a double layer cowl. I'm not that bothered about doing jogless stripes, to be quite honest. It's never really bothered me. But I thought I'd try and do this. So at the airport, I had a look at a video and I started doing it. And that's the first few rows I knitted at the airport on the plane. And I thought, well, they're not quite jogless. So I'm obviously doing something wrong. Then when we got to Spain, I looked at a few other videos. And then first few days I was knitting on the beach to try and get these stripes done. And I clearly, I don't know what I did wrong, but it's clearly not right. You see that? You can see that kind of diagonal line. I mean, they are almost jogless, but you can see that line. So I don't know whether that's just because I pulled the yarn too tight and I changed the colours. It looks neat on the back, but yeah, that obviously does not look good, and I'm not happy with that. I did consider ripping it back, but knitting the stripes, it was taking me a while. I was getting a bit bored with it. I wanted to get onto the colour work, so I decided to leave it. I thought it's going to be on the inside, nobody's going to see it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit this section, and then I'm going to do, so it's going to be the height of the cowl is going to be twice that height. So I'm going to knit this till it, hang on, let me see if I can fold this. So I'm going to knit this till it reaches there, and then like double that. And then I'm going to do stripes at the other end, and then I fold the cowl inside, the stripes inside, and then I'll seam the two ends, cast off and cast on end together. So when I get to the other side and I'm doing stripes, I will do a little bit more research into jogless stripes and see if I can work out a better way of doing it. But I'm not re-knitting what I've already done. I just can't be bothered. Takes too long. So really enjoying that. This is for a collection that I'm hoping to release this autumn. Okay, so another thing that I started just before I came home from Spain. So I've actually done most of this on the way back from Spain. So you saw in the video that I was knitting on the plane. This is what I was knitting on the plane. So I got these are knitted top down, and my plan was to actually do heel flap and standard heel turn and all that kind of stuff, because I've not done that for a long time. But when I started knitting and I realized that this was knitting up into stripes, I decided that I didn't want to do that. So it came in like a standard sock yarn thing, like this kind of ball. And I don't like knitting from this because I only use a tiny project bag, and this takes up a lot of space. And it's not that easy to wind the yarn off unless you pull it from the center, which I don't like. So I always rewind it by hand so it goes into a smaller ball. And it's difficult to tell from this kind of thing whether it's stripes or what it is. So I didn't think it was stripy. When I started knitting and realized it was stripy, I decided to do my normal afterthought heel. Looked looks weird with an afterthought heel like this, but it does actually look very good on, feels very good on your foot. So I knitted most of that leg on the way home. I'd done about 10 rounds the day before I left, and then I knitted quite a lot at the airport, and I knitted quite a lot on the plane. Because I had a really early flight, I thought I would actually sleep on the plane, but I didn't. I watched Netflix, I downloaded some stuff from Netflix, and I watched Netflix and knitted the whole way. Flight was less than half full, so I flew from Alicante to Newquay in Cornwall, and clearly not a very popular airport, or in demand airport, shall I say, and the flight was less than half full, and so I had 3 seats to myself, and in fact there was nobody in the row behind me, nobody in the row in front of me, and nobody across the aisle from me, so I actually had like a whole row to myself. But I had 3 seats to myself, so I did spread out a bit, and I think that's because I was quite comfortable, because I was spread out, and I ended up knitting the whole plane. So I finished this a couple of days after I came home, and then I started the second one. The first couple of days I was home, I did a lot of knitting on this because I was quite tired and I didn't really want to knit anything else. But the last few days I've not really done much. So this is now living in my handbag for when I'm out and about. So the last project I cast on for during the holiday, a few days before we were due to come home, I had some yarn that I hadn't cast on with. I just kind of thrown it into the into my suitcase at the end of the just before I left on the holiday as a kind of emergency yarn if I finished everything else I brought. So that's the Shopple Sauber Pallen. So I took 2 of these, didn't really know what I was going to do with it, but I brought 2 of those, and I did cast on in the last week just because I felt like I needed to do something with the yarn I brought with me. So I finished the first part of this. I wasn't sure what to do with what shawl. I knew I wanted to make a shawl, but I didn't know what shape. So I decided on a shape. I know it looks like a triangle. It's not actually going to be a triangle. It's going to be a rectangle. So this is the first section. So for the first section, I used these 2 colours, alternate between these 2 colours from 2 of these. So I brought 2 of these, and I used those 2 colours from both. So in both of the ones, these rings, I got these colours left. So that's what it looks like. And then these are the ones I got left. So I finished the first section, and I need to go on to the next section. I was going to start it last night, but I haven't actually written up what I've done so far. I've just written it in a notebook, which is a little bit foolish, because if I mislay that notebook, I could be in big trouble. So I'm going to, later today, I'm going to sit up and actually write up, type up what I've done so far, and check it against the sample, and then I'm going to carry on knitting and start next section, and I'll then be starting on that colorway. So I'm looking forward to that, but hopefully make some progress on that over the weekend. So the first pair of socks I finished on holiday were these. These are Dragon Hill Studio Chepstow 4-ply sock in like a rainbow colourway. I can't remember exactly what the colourway is called, but it's pretty bright. So these were knitted toe up with an afterthought heel, but because I was knitting them on the beach and my feet were sandy, when I got to where I would normally put the waist yarn in, I didn't actually try them on to check. Normally I try them on and make sure they come to here, but I didn't do that because I was on the beach, and I think because of the heat and the fact that, you know, when it's hot your hands get slightly damp because of sweat and things. I think my tension was a lot tighter. So anyway, I as you've seen from the last tutorial I posted, I didn't have any waist yarn with me, so I put a marker in for the heel, and then I started knitting the rib for the leg. And when I did the heel and tried it on, I realized that the foot was too short and it just felt really tight. I thought about giving them to my daughter, but I really like this colorway. So what I did was I undid the toe. So the original toe probably came up to about here. So I undid the toe, which is a bit more difficult because of a knitted toe up. So I basically unpicked around at the start of the rib here, and then I knitted stocking stitch down. If you try and knit rib in the other direction, it won't line up correctly, so that's why I decided to do stocking stitch. So I did a few rounds of stocking stitch, about 10 rounds I think, and then I did a swirly toe. So originally it had a wedge toe, but because I got a swirly heel, I decided to do a swirly toe. I don't really like knitting the swirly toe from the toe up, to be honest, because it starts so fiddly, but I really like it top down. So got a swirly toe, swirly heel. Wish I'd made the leg a bit longer. I do have yarn left over, so I couldn't do the cast off and knit a bit longer, but I don't think I can be bothered. But they're quite nice length. If I fold the cuff down, they're quite nice length. So anyway, I've been wearing them for the last 2 nights. I wear hand knitted socks every night in bed because my feet get really cold. So I am really pleased with them, and they are very comfortable, and I'll definitely get some more of the Dragon Hill sock yarn. So another thing I finished on holiday, but I haven't blocked yet. I'm going to block it tomorrow. This afternoon I'm going to block my pink cardigan. So I also finished my pink cardigan. If you remember from before I went away, I was knitting a really bright pink cardigan. I had hoped to finish it before I went on holiday, but I didn't. So I only had like that much left on the sleeves to knit when I came home. So over the weekend I sat down and finished that, and I've sewn one sleeve in, and then this afternoon I'm going to record how I sew in the second sleeve, because it's dropped shoulders, so it doesn't have, when you have a fitted sleeve cap you can kind of see where the sleeve's supposed to go, but with dropped shoulder it might be a little bit more difficult to work out. So this afternoon I'm going to film a video showing how I do the sleeve and then how I block it. And then tomorrow I'll film maybe a little bit about how I sew up the rest, and then next we'll get photos and get the pattern finished and sent off to my tech editor. So I'm excited to finally finish that because I can't wait to wear it. Bright pink, and I absolutely love it. But I did finish this on holiday. This is Sauber flour. It's a cake like that, like this. It's 600 meters, 150 grams, and it's the same yarn as the Sauber ball yarns, but it comes in a 150 gram cake, and the color repeats are a bit longer than the Sauber ball yarns. So I cast this on, I can't remember whether I cast it on before I went or whether I cast it on the first few days. It's a triangle shawl. I haven't done a triangle like this for a while. It's actually based on a shawl I designed for Let's Knit a few years ago. It was one of these free patterns on the front cover of their magazine that came with like the, not on the cover, it was a free pattern that went with one of their free cover gifts. That's what I meant to say. So it was a free pattern that went with their cover gifts. So they do a gift on every cover of every magazine. And this particular issue was this yellow yarn, acrylic kind of lace weight yarn, thin yarn. And I designed a shawl to go with it. I don't really think that you should be knitting shawls in acrylic if you can afford other yarns. I appreciate that some people that might be your budget, and that's fine, but it's very difficult to block acrylic. So I do think that for shawls and lace in particular, you really should try and push for something non-acrylic if you can afford it. But I also had said no for a long time to designing anything for the free yarn that went on their cover, as a cover gift. I kept saying, they kept asking me, and I kept saying no because I knew I wouldn't really like the yarn, because I am a bit of a yarn snob. So I finally said yes. I love the shawl. The shawl was actually a slightly different shape, but I've always liked the shawl pattern and always thought I would republish it. But when I came to actually type it up, because the next pattern I'm going to release is actually a half hexagon shawl, and this pattern was originally a half hexagon shawl, and I thought I'm going to do 2 half hexagon shawls quite close together, and I thought I haven't done a top down triangle like this for a while, so I converted the pattern to a triangle. so it is different from the one that was in the magazine. Really love these colours. I've been wanting to use this yarn for a while, so I'm really excited about this. It needs blocking, which I'm going to do tomorrow hopefully, and then pattern will hopefully be out sometime in September. The second pair of socks I finished the whole day is my YarnAddict Barbara sock yarn socks. So this is by YarnAddict, but it's spun by West Yorkshire Spinners. So it's the same yarn as the West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply, but it's an exclusive colourway for YarnAddict. Saw this on Twitter a couple of months ago, really liked it. So I ordered the colourway and then decided I would knit them on holiday. So another beach project. Again, my tension was a little bit tighter, I think. So because I knew that the Dragon Hill Studio socks were too short, I knitted these. I actually knitted 10 rounds longer on the leg than what I did last time I knitted socks from the toe up using this pattern in this yarn. So I've knitted socks from West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply before. Normally I do about 60 rounds on the foot from the end of the toe. This one has a wedge toe, but I did 70 rounds this time, and these fit a lot better. So I'll see with the socks I'm knitting at the moment whether my tension is the same as these or whether I was just tighter because I was knitting on the beach. I don't know. Knitted the legs slightly longer on these as well. I think it's about 90 rounds. So I did a garter rib all the way up the foot and up the leg, and then the top 15 rounds I did in just a plain rib. I planned to do the top 20 rounds, but by the time I counted, I'd done 75 rounds, and I didn't want to do more than 90 rounds because I quite like that length on me. It's about a third of the way, nearly between a third and halfway up my calf, I guess. So I quite like that colour, that length, sorry. The heel is a swirly heel, which is my favourite heel to work. And the toe is a wedge toe, and as usual I used my Aventuras pattern, and I'm really happy with these socks. Did also bring some bright pink Lang Yawol sock yarn with me, which I planned to knit some lacy socks, and I did have a pattern planned out for that. I actually typed up the chart before I went. I wrote up the start of the pattern. I was all organised. Towards the end of the holiday, when I finished the other two socks, I cast on and it just wasn't working, and I just wasn't happy, and I kept trying to change the pattern. I probably cast on and knitted about that much and ripped it back 3 times maybe. Then I thought, well, maybe I'll do some hand warmers, so I did that. I'm still not sure if I'm 100% happy, so I can't remember the last time I cast on whether I was happy with that or not. So it's in a bag downstairs, and I need to really get it out and look at it, but I'm not going to show you because I don't know whether what I'm doing will actually happen or whether I'll rip it out again. I haven't quite decided yet. So just doing a little bit of work on my crochet blanket. I didn't work on this for quite a while before I went on holiday, but over the weekend I picked it up again and added a few more rows, quite a few more rows actually. So it's corner to corner. So let's see if I can show you all of it. So it starts down here, and then this is the short end of it. Let me just, and then difficult to show you this. So this is the like the long end. So it's getting quite long. It's probably, if I put it down over my toes, it's probably up to my waist. So it's probably from my, I'm quite tall, I'm 178, which I think is about 5'10", and it's probably from the floor nearly up to my waist now. So I'm quite enjoying it. Probably about halfway, I would guess. I need to order some more yarn soon, and I'm trying to decide whether to carry on with the grey and the pink, or whether to switch the pink out for a purple. I need to order some more yarn, so I need to decide soon. So I did actually knit with everything I brought with me. All the yarn I brought with me got knitted. I didn't finish more than one thing. Well, 2 pairs of socks and a shawl is what I managed to finish, but I started everything. So I've got, I bought yarn for, let's see, the shawl, the cowl, 3 pairs of socks, and the pink yarn and the other shawl. So I bought yarn for 7 projects. 3 of those were plain socks. 1 was a pair of lace pattern socks, which are on hold indefinitely. Yarn for 2 shawls and yarn for a stranded colourwork cowl. So that's the yarn I brought with me. And I finished 2 pairs of socks and I finished this shawl. I thought I would have finished at least 3 pairs of socks and made more progress on the colourwork cowl, to be quite honest. But I clearly didn't knit as much as I planned to. So I guess I probably knitted about half the yarn I brought with me. I needn't have brought this with me, clearly. But you live and learn. It's better to have too much yarn than not enough, right? So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I'm hoping to start posting every week. That's my plan, or at least most weeks. I'd like to become a bit more regular, and I'm going to start next week to record several tutorials and reviews that I've got planned. I've got a list, but if there's anything you'd like me to talk about, do pop it below this video. Do tell me what you've been doing lately. What's on your needles? Have you been on holiday? Have you been traveling? Do you knit on holiday? Let me know what you do. Do you knit on planes? I do have a video about travel knitting, which I will link below. And I hope you have a good week and enjoy this weekend. Thank you for watching.
Yo mañana a ver si estoy ya con el puñetero de ordenador, pero es que nada, lo voy a cambiar, porque me queda grande, porque me queda pequeño. A ver